Hey guys, it's Saga from TechWorks. As you guys saw from the title, today we are going to compare the cameras on the Poco F1 with the ones on the Mi A2. I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for this video. Both these devices are priced close to each other, but in reality, they are completely different devices. Poco F1 offers so much more, and it is basically a flagship level phone priced at just 4,000 rupees more than the Mi A2 for its base variant. Mi A2 is continuing the legacy of the Mi A1 of having the best set of cameras in the sub 20,000 rupees price range, and it is like a standard for judging the cameras on other budget smartphones. So everyone wants to know where the dual cameras on the Poco F1 stand in comparison. We have a lot of image and video samples to go through, so instead of walking you through all the camera specs on both these devices, here is a slide showing you all the relevant camera specifications on both these phones. If you want a detailed look at the camera interface, or if you want to check out my dedicated individual camera reviews of both these phones, I will leave card to those videos on the top right corner of the screen and also link them in the description section. Now before we move on to the image and video samples, make sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of the amazing videos coming up on this channel. Both these phones are running the latest software that was available at the time of uploading this video. Both of them also have 12 megapixel primary cameras, but the Poco F1 has a larger pixel size, so its images are slightly more detailed. This is not easily noticed, especially while you are taking images in bright daylight conditions. What we can notice from these images is Poco F1 tries to capture more saturated colors and adds in a bit of more contrast to its images. Poco F1 also shows a better dynamic range even when the HDR mode is not enabled. It is either that or the image processor coupled with the Snapdragon 845 processor on the Poco F1 is doing a better job than the one coupled with the Snapdragon 660 processor on the Mi A2. In diffuse light or in overcast conditions like these, Mi A2 tends to capture cooler looking colors, while the Poco F1 captures much warmer color tones. The actual colors of the scene were like the ones that have been captured by the Mi A2. So the Mi A2 is better at handling the white balance of the scene in these lighting situations. As we move indoors or when there is even light, Poco does well and starts to capture accurate looking colors. Poco F1 also has AI scene detection mode. It is really good at detecting the scene, but I actually don't like the settings that it applies after that. It makes the color and the overall image look very processed, as you can see in these shots. Once in a while, an image might turn out good with the AI mode turned on, but I would rather use the normal HDR mode or edit the original images myself in third-party apps like Lightroom or Snapseed to make the images look better. So in almost all of my other images, I have turned the AI mode off. Here are few images with the HDR mode turned on. Images from both the phones look good. Poco F1 does a slightly better job of bringing up the shadows in these HDR shots, but again we see it messing up with the white balance and capturing much warmer looking images compared to the Mi A2. So for the HDR shots, I like the brightness levels from the Poco F1, but I prefer the colors from the Mi A2. Here is a quick focusing test from both these cameras. Mi A2 uses face detection autofocus, while the Poco F1 incorporates dual pixel autofocusing. Both are doing an equally good job at quickly fixing the focus from far to near objects. Quick and accurate focusing is important for these close-up and macro shots. Mi A2 has a wider aperture of the two, f1.75 versus f1.9 on the Poco F1. Background in the close-up shots from both the phones is blurred out very nicely, but for some reason, the main subject in focus is a bit sharper on the Mi A2 in almost all of these images. Coming to the portrait shots, both the phones are doing a very good job of detecting the edges and separating the subject from the background. In all of these images, Poco F1 shows a much better dynamic range, and it also handles the exposure in the background really well. A2 on the other hand is completely blowing up the highlights in the scene. Again, for some reason, Poco F1 is adding a bit of softening to the main subject, which doesn't always look good. Both can use a bit of improvement with software updates, but even in their current state, they are capable of taking some really good portrait shots. I love capturing portrait images of objects, and both of them are doing an excellent job with it. They are very accurate at detecting the edges and separating the background, even if you have very complex objects in the scene. And I actually feel they are much better at taking portrait images of objects than humans. Now coming to artificial and low lighting situations. Poco F1 has a larger pixel size and the Mi A2 has a wider aperture. So both are doing a very good job of capturing a lot of details in these situations as well. There is no optical image stabilization on either of the phones, so the shutter can't remain open for a longer time to gather more information. As a result, the cameras have to bump up the ISO to make the images seem brighter, which usually adds a bit of noise in the low light images. But the image processing on both these phones is doing a good job of keeping these noise levels to minimum. Both of them capture good and accurate colors in lower light. But surprisingly, Mi A2 is better at handling the exposure than the Poco F1 in these situations. There is no shortness of details in the images from both the phones, and thanks to having a wider aperture, Mi A2's images appear a bit brighter in some of the cases. As I have said before, both these phones lack optical image stabilization, but they do a good job of keeping the shutter speed fast, so you won't end up with lot of blurry images. Both have similar 20 megapixel front-facing cameras, so we see same amount of details from both the phones. But the Poco F1 shows a bit better dynamic range. Both these front-facing cameras use pixel binning technology to combine information from 4 pixels into 1 superpixel, and this helps in capturing better images in lower light. Both also offer the option of taking portrait selfies. They are accurate at separating the subject from the background, and the portrait images look really good even if you are shooting in lower lighting conditions. Here is a video with the front-facing camera of the Poco F1 and the Mi A2. Frame on both the cameras is pretty similar, and you can probably tell how good the stabilization is on either of these phones. For some reason, front-facing videos are not electronically stabilized on the Poco F1 even if you turn on the stabilization from settings. You get the option to shoot 4K 30fps videos on both the phones. These videos have no stabilization at all, and the video from the Poco F1 is weirdly oversaturated. 1080p 30fps videos are electronically stabilized on both these phones, and they look good. Again, video from Poco F1 is a bit saturated, but it is not as saturated as its 4K video, so it is still usable. Both can shoot slow motion videos, but Poco F1 gives you various resolution and frame rate options like shooting 1080p or 240fps videos in either 720p or 1080p resolution. There are no such options on the Mi A2. However, you do get 1080p 60fps shooting mode on the Mi A2, which the Poco F1 doesn't offer. We saw over 55 image and video samples. Poco F1 clearly shows better dynamic range and contrast in daylight, but other than that, most of the images from both the phones look almost similar. In most of the images, I even prefer the colors from the Mi A2. It also captures sharper portrait shots, and it performs extremely well in lower lighting situations despite of being priced lower than the Poco F1. If you are choosing between these devices and you want a better camera and a phone with overall better performance, I would suggest you to go with the Poco F1. But if you can only stretch your budget to 17,000 rupees, you can still get the Mi A2 as it has a very good set of cameras. Price difference between these phones is 4,000 rupees. For some of you it might be a very small difference, and going for the Poco F1 might seem like a no-brainer. But I know, for some people the same 4,000 rupees difference makes a huge deal, and for them, Mi A2 is a great option. I hope you guys agree with that. What are your thoughts about the camera on both these phones? Do let me know in the comments. And if you want to support the channel, you can do that by purchasing these phones from the affiliate links in the description. It will help the channel a lot at no extra cost to you. That is it for this video, guys. Please hit the like button if you enjoyed this video and subscribe to the channel for more quality tech videos like this. You can also check out some of the other videos from this channel. This has been Sagar, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care.